Well, we're into summer already. Matt,
Already.
Think you'd make it?
We made it. I'd say that's a long stretch of hosting and traveling and all that, but we made it.
Has Heath critiqued your job here?
He is
You're
not.
taking over?
He is not.
He's jealous, probably.
He is jealous.
He's probably jealous because, for one thing, you don't show as much hair.
That's right.
And that's the key to
Keep
all
it
this.
buttoned up.
We like to be professional now around here. We like to be a little professional. Jim Gazzolo and Matt Fontenot, this is Poke Nation. Going to talk about a lot of things this time, but what do we have for the first topic? I've already forgotten.
Just the year in review.
Yes,
Just kind of we had some
is,
changes this year.
That was it. The big changes is, first of all, you're sitting there.
Yep.
Are you comfortable in that seat yet?
I am.
Are you?
I am.
It can get a little bit testy.
Well, anytime you're asking questions, it can get testy.
There's not a lot of questions being asked here. We ask pretty simple stuff for you. But the biggest change, obviously, was the AD position.
Correct.
And your position now, and everything that's gone on. What's the transition been like for you guys? And what have you seen from people in the public that you've had to go out and meet?
Well, I think obviously anytime there's transition and change, there's uncertainty. And, I think there was a lot of questions asked, well, who's doing what and who's stronghold or who could really do that task.
Yeah.
So I think it took a couple of weeks for everybody to really settle in. And now that everybody's settled in, the feedback that we're getting not only in the department but just around campus is, man, this is a really good team that we have here. Bridget's a great leader that loves this place. She's resonated really well with the donor base and the people that are really adamant about moving this thing forward. And then to be able to take on the corporate sponsorship piece and some of those that I've done. Again, I go back to, I think everybody is invested in McNeese. They believe in what we've done the last couple of years and want to just see it continue. So the feedback's been great, honestly, for the couple of months of transition we've had.
And one thing is that because there's been stumbles, nobody's really noticed it. You want a smooth transition.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, especially this day and age with all the portal, and you want to show stability.
Yeah.
For coaches and for
players.
And I think we've done that. And obviously, that's Bridget, right? She is the definition of stability around here, and so. She still meets with recruits as they come on campus, and I think the quick transition was also a big deal in our world, which maybe you don't see across campus. They don't recognize sometimes that it has to work fast, and it did. And I think because of that, the rosters that were trying to take shape there right after the transition benefited from the quick transition.
And I think the big thing for you guys was the fact that you were able to get a basketball coach and a women's basketball coach to Ashton Fo's house so quickly.
Yeah, I still, that might be Bridget's biggest achievement so far. And I've heard well, Heath already had a list and whatever. Well, Bridget's always had a list. We all have
everybody
lists,
has a list.
But I think for her to vet somebody that quickly and to make a decision that quickly. Obviously, Ashton's really, really good, so it was an easy decision for her whenever she started vetting. But I think that just shows Bridget's evaluation skills. And, I mean, everybody talks about how much of a closer Heath was. Bridget just shows she's pretty good at it, too.
Yeah, well, he was, and she didn't have to go to the Waffle House. She didn't take
no Waffle House. There was no Waffle House in this
That's disgusting.
coaching search.
Come on. Spend a little money, Heath. Come on. The Waffle House. But, no, those two things are big. But there's also subtle little changes that come in that make it work, because you've got to reestablish everything that happened with the donors that came in. You had $11 million come in last year. You've got to stabilize them to know that their investment is still not only appreciated, but still going in the same direction.
Absolutely, and I think that was what we tried to do right out the gate was make sure that everybody understood. Everybody that's been here behind the scenes for the athletic department is still here. We've, Kiefer's still raising money for NIL. He's still structuring contracts and helping us in that space. MAF is still continuing to move forward with all the fulfillment and the corporate sponsorship. All that team is still here and in place. Our CFO's everybody's still here, I guess. And so to be able to show that our donors and really the larger community in general that we did this thing, and Heath would tell you, we did this together as a group, and those people are still here making it happen.
Yeah, but he was the face. He made it look like it was.
Oh, he loved that part of it.
Yes, he did. So going into next year, where do you see this going as you guys start a new year now that it's fresh?
Well, I think with anything, right, you see substantial growth. And you talk to any business person, I mean, if you see substantial growth in a short amount of time, you probably should step back and make sure that it's sustainable before you really go forward again. So I think what we've talked about, not that we're going to slow play anything, but we are going to make sure that everything that has been done over the last 5 years is sustainable. We've got some new revenue streams that'll be filtered into our budgets this year from the gambling money, and so we're in a really good position to make sure that our policies and our procedures are really stable before we hit the gas pedal again. And so I think there's going to be a level of trust and credibility after this year.
Well, when you come back, we're going to talk to Tyler Bolfing about football after this on Poke Nation.
Well, it's game day at the Legacy Center, and the McNeese Cowboys are warmed up and ready to play. Cowboys have a new player this year, number 22, Katie Ferdinandson. This girl loves basketball and McNeese so much she can't wait to get out on the floor. And we're off. Shoemate tips the brewer, and there goes Katie.
Ferdinandson Financial Group supports the McNeese Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to do some really big things. Really big.
McNeese athletes bring big energy, big plays, and big spirit to every game. That's why Lakeside is proud to be such a huge fan. We're a hometown team too, in the business of backing big dreams across our community every day. And we always bank on big wins with McNeese Sports. Go big with Lakeside and McNeese.
Join Don's Wash Club and score big on clean rides all season. Unlock discounts on washes, interior cleanings, oil changes, and more. Whether you're tailgating or heading home after the game, keep your ride looking like a pro. Not ready to commit? No worries. Scan the QR code on screen to see what we're all about. Enjoy your ride with Don's on McNeese, Ryan, and Nelson.
Welcome to Pro Pools, your one-stop shop for everything pool care. Top quality chemicals to keep your water clean, clear, and balanced. Plus in-store savings and rebates to keep more money in your pocket. Upgrade your cleaning with industry-leading equipment and turn your backyard into the perfect escape. From simple setups to luxury designs, we've got you covered. Visit Pro Pools today on Romero Street in Lake Charles, or call now and dive into better pool care.
As we get ready to start June, summer school, and everything else going on, Tyler Bolfing is joining us, offensive coordinator, coach. I got a lot of questions for you about your first year as an offensive coordinator, the second year in that. But first of all, what did spring look like for you guys?
I thought spring was good. The thing that I've continued to tell people over the last couple months is it was the most competitive spring that I've been a part of in a long time. I thought guys on both sides of the ball were towing the edge of the line, but kept composure throughout the entire thing and competed really, really hard. I thought this spring was better than last spring. I think it helps that we're more talented than we were a spring ago, but I think the expectations and the standards that Coach V has put in place, our guys now understand fully that they've been in a full cycle of it, and I thought it was really good. Really pleased with the way that our guys worked and competed. Yeah, the last time a year ago you were kind of implementing the culture. Now it's completely in, and everybody that's here now, I assume, is bought in then. Yeah, absolutely. And obviously we added a lot of new faces as well out of the transfer portal, and some early enrollee high school kids that were here as well. And because the culture, if you will, is set in place, those guys stepped in and bought in. And those guys came into the program, wanted to compete at a high level and wanted opportunities to play. And so they had no choice but to buy in. And I thought the guys that were here on the roster a year ago did a really good job of carrying over the expectations and the standards. And the guys that we added, I thought, fell in line and really pushed the envelope and hopefully continuing to improve our standards and expectations.
I was going to ask. I mean, you talked about some guys that are returners. Obviously, coaches can try to set the standards and all those things and expectations. But how important is it to retain some guys and really retain some key guys? I mean, you get the quarterback, some running backs. I mean, you got some key guys on offense that have come back, a couple of receivers.
Yep.
But how was that in their process and helping get those new guys on board?
Well, they were tremendous in that process, and you're right. The word retention is something that we've talked about a lot. If we can retain from year to year, then we're going to give ourselves an opportunity to build a successful program over the long haul. And was really impressed with guys like Jake and Devin, some of the offensive linemen that came back, Trevante Citizen, Marquez Davis is a returner, the receivers, Curtis and Mackay and Cam Senegal. Like those guys, I thought did really well because early on in the offseason, they were the best guys in workouts. They were showing up early. They were getting the extra work in. And then it forces everybody else to fall in line if they're taking care of their business. And so those guys did a great job of that and have been really impressed with them throughout the duration of the spring. And so hopefully we can continue that trend through the summer.
You mentioned Citizen. Obviously, he's had kind of an injury-filled career, both here and at Miami. What is he like now? How is his health, and how does he feel? Because he really wants to have one big year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's been a long time since I've seen TC, or didn't ever see TC healthy before we got here, and so this is the best TC has looked that I've been around him. He's working the hardest he's ever worked. He's the fastest he's ever been. He's the strongest he's ever been. I've been really, really impressed with Trevante's offseason, and am really excited for him as an individual to see what his season will be this year.
He got his degree too, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, so I've watched him going back to high school,
Yeah.
right? And he was always the most physically best looking kid out there. But to see him be healthy and be excited about the upcoming season with a degree in his hand is a really big deal.
Yeah, no, it's special and so good for him. The resiliency that kid's had to go or has had to have throughout his career is really special. And so really excited for him. And obviously for us, hope that he's ready to have a great season, and I think he is.
But you guys also added the running back from La Tech.
Yep.
And there's been a lot of talk about him this year, too, going in. What's special about him, and what can you do with him?
Yeah, Wiggs has been really good. I guess the thing that I was most impressed with Wiggs was just his vision, his ability to set up blocks, and he's not looking at the defender that's right in front of him. He's looking at the next level defenders, and his ability to take second and third level defenders, two combinations of the O-line, and being able to make cuts off of that is probably what jumped off the tape at me throughout the spring. But he's another one that, he has worked his tail off. If you look at what Wiggs looked like when he first showed up to what he looks like right now, he has had a great offseason, and I think we're going to be able to do really special things with him as well. That's a great room. I've got a lot of respect for the guys in that room. Coach Reese does a great job with those guys because that's one of the deepest rooms that we've got on this team, and they're challenging each other every single day to get better, and they're continuing to push themselves. And so we have high expectations for that room, but we know that they're willing to live up to it, and they're working their tails off to do that.
Well, so that room, I think we've been really excited about it for a couple of years now, right?
Yeah.
There's been a very deep room. I think the wide receiver room has shown some really promise too as well. Talk about Antonio Brown coming in, new coach,
Yep.
maybe a little new vibe in that room, and feel like they really progressed over the spring as well.
Xavier. Yep. No, but Xavier's been really good. I've been really excited about him. He works his tail off. He has elite passion. He coaches the guys really, really hard. Been very impressed with that room as well. Curtis, Mackay, Cam Senegal. We added Elijah Edwards. Everybody calls him Smiley. Jamal Levi. These guys have had their best offseason since we've been here. They're playing their best football right now. If you see some of these guys physically, they look. Some of them look like they could play tight end. They're between 205 and 210 pounds. We've got a handful of them that are 6'1" to 6'2". It is a room that has improved leaps and bounds from a year ago, and a lot of that is back to Matt's point earlier. Is we retain a lot of those guys we retained from last year. All those guys that I mentioned, but one, were here last year, and now they're back and working really hard. And I'm really excited for those guys as well and see what we can do with them.
Curtis is kind of interesting because he's a lot like TC in a way that he's a local kid, comes back home, injured for the first year in that. Do you see a little parallels with them, and they're kind of wanting something to prove to the home folks?
Yeah, I think so. I think both of those guys, and Curtis specifically, since we already talked about TC. I mean, he knows what he's capable of, and he knows that he's got an opportunity to be a dominant receiver at this level. And so the challenge for him has been, hey, be the same Curtis every single day when you show up in the building. And to his credit, he has gotten significantly better at that. And I've been really impressed with Curtis, and I'm really excited about what Curtis can do because I think, like you said, he wants to prove to Southwest Louisiana that, hey, I can have great success here at McNeese, and we can do great things. And I can achieve the things that I want to as an individual from being a great player at McNeese.
When we come back with Tyler Bolfing, we're going to talk about the position he played at McNeese and what it means to have a quarterback coming back after this.
Well, it's game day at the Legacy Center, and the McNeese Cowboys are warmed up and ready to play. Cowboys have a new player this year, number 22, Katie Ferdinand. This girl loves basketball and McNeese so much she can't wait to get out on the floor. And we're off. Shoemate tips the brewer, and there goes Katie.
Ferdinand Financial Group supports the McNeese Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to do some really big things. Really big.
McNeese athletes bring big energy, big plays, and big spirit to every game. That's why Lakeside is proud to be such a huge fan. We're a hometown team too, in the business of backing big dreams across our community every day. And we always bank on big wins with McNeese Sports. Go big with Lakeside and McNeese.
Join Don's Wash Club and score big on clean rides all season. Unlock discounts on washes, interior cleanings, oil changes, and more. Whether you're tailgating or heading home after the game, keep your ride looking like a pro. Not ready to commit? No worries. Scan the QR code on screen to see what we're all about. Enjoy your ride with Don's on McNeese, Ryan, and Nelson.
Welcome to Pro Pools, your one-stop shop for everything pool care. Top quality chemicals to keep your water clean, clear, and balanced. Plus in-store savings and rebates to keep more money in your pocket. Upgrade your cleaning with industry-leading equipment and turn your backyard into the perfect escape. From simple setups to luxury designs, we've got you covered. Visit Pro Pools today on Romero Street in Lake Charles, or call now and dive into better pool care.
We're back with Tyler Bolfing, offensive coordinator at McNeese State. And Coach, this will be the first time since pre-hurricane that McNeese will not only have the offensive coordinator and quarterback back for the same year, but to have a quarterback back in a room for a second year in a row. What does that do for you, and how does that open things up and the language you can speak differently now in a second year?
Yeah, I mean, human alignment's such an important thing, right? And obviously, to be back with Coach V, a guy that I played for, is huge for me. Our ability to communicate and talk through things only makes us better, only makes me better as the play caller. And then from Jake's perspective, to have the alignment from the top down is tremendous. And our ability to communicate and work together is really good. The other thing that I've pointed out to other people about it is the fact that we brought the starter and the backup back from last season is a big deal in the day and age of the transfer portal where that doesn't happen. I think it speaks a lot to the mindset of not only Jake but Devin as well, that those guys are willing to come back and compete. And I also think it speaks even more broadly about how special this place is, McNeese in Southwest Louisiana. But back to your question, I mean, it's been really good for us because both of those guys have improved dramatically from a year ago. If you look at spring statistics, which I'm not a huge stat guy in spring ball, but I do think it's an important metric to pay attention to. Both completion percentages are up, both interceptions are down, and explosive plays are up from a spring ago. Mm-hmm. So that leads me to believe, because I think our defense is pretty dang good as well, that leads me to believe that, we're making strides in the right direction.
And they play a little bit different styles of football, right? I mean, Devin's the big physical kid that likes to put his shoulder down and run somebody over. Yep. He loves to throw it too, obviously, but they do play a little bit different football. How do they make each other better in a sense that they kind of have different styles? Yeah, well, I just think the way they make each other better is they're great kids that are great competitors.
And there is a mutual respect because both of them see how the other one is working each and every day. Obviously, they both want to be the guy, and they don't want to share snaps with the other guy, which I get, which we all want nothing but that from our starting quarterback. But I think the amount of respect and just the consistency day in and day out of both of those guys from a work ethic standpoint, from the way they treat their teammates, from the way they handle their business off the field, I think is really help those guys cultivate a great relationship and continue to push each other, even though they are different football players. But at the end of the day, they both can do some of the same things. Obviously, they both throw the ball, well, but they both can run. Yeah, their running styles are vastly different, but they both can give us success running the quarterback as well.
Speaking of that, obviously Jake kind of scrambled a little bit last year. I mean, almost at times a little more than we probably wanted to.
Yep.
I don't know. You're the coach here, but does that have to do with the offensive line, and what does that look like going into this year? I mean, I know that obviously everything's trenches heavy, but had some success in the recruiting this offseason and the offensive line. What's that look like?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Jake's comfortability in the offense will alleviate some of those issues. I do think we will continue to improve on the offensive line. I thought, the offensive line last year played well. We led the league in rushing, which is a big deal, and so. I think that I think some of the running and scrambling and things like that by Jake was some of it comfortability in the offense, some of it receivers not getting open, feeling like he needs to make a play. I think all of that will be improved, like we've been talking about with other things. I think those things are going to be improved going into year 2. I'm really excited about our offensive line. I think Coach Siegler's done a great job. On the recruiting trail this year. I think he does a great job of building a culture in that room. We're excited about the guys that are returning and the guys that we've added. The big fellas in our program know that it starts with them. And so it's easy to recruit the big fellas to this program because we know that we're going to lean on them to get it going each Saturday. And so I'm excited about that room and look forward to how they have what they do this summer and heading into fall.
The fact that you guys had success second half of the season last year especially, and really improved on offense, is some of that the fact that you got comfortable seeing what they can do in games compared to what they could do in a game compared to just a practice? You kind of saw what you could be familiar with in calling and what they like and can do? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I think that's a huge piece of it it took us longer than any of us wanted to kind of find our rhythm on offense, but that was a big part of it was, okay, who are playmakers? How do we try to design them to get the ball? How do we effectively make this offense go and be efficient in everything that we do? The other part of it is, too, obviously, front half of the schedule was a very tough piece of it. And so we had some natural bumps and bruises, but we developed some calluses through those games, I think, which help us have success in the back half of the season. And another thing is, you flip on the tape, Houston Christian, Jake starts to run the football. And it's like, oh, there's a new element here to this offense. We knew that Jake was athletic, but we did not know that he was that successful of a runner. And then that kind of changed it moving forward. And obviously, he ended up having a few huge games on the ground for us. And so, being able to run the quarterback adds an entirely different element to defenses having to defend. And so I thought that piece of it, along with figuring out, hey, who are consistent playmakers? Hey, our offensive line's pretty good. Hey, our running backs are pretty dang good. Let's lean on them. Let's run the football. Let's really establish the run game. I think all of those things benefited to us, finding more success in the second half of the season.
And one thing about Jake Strong, he is, I believe, the only returning starting quarterback in the league.
Is he? I have not even.
I think there's maybe one other, but nobody that played it full time. So that's unique for McNeese in the last 5 years, that's for sure.
That's awesome. We're excited about that.
When's the first camp? When does camp open?
Fall camp?
Yeah.
Fall camp opens on, 27th of July.
July 27th, just after
27th.
Media Day.
Yeah, just after Media Day.
Yeah, you got a coach over there.
Yeah.
Right. When we come back, we'll get Matt's final thoughts. July 27th, football is right around the corner.
The Cowboys are going to do some really big things. Really big.
McNeese athletes bring big energy, big plays, and big spirit to every game. That's why Lakeside is proud to be such a huge fan. We're a hometown team too, in the business of backing big dreams across our community every day. And we always bank on big wins with McNeese Sports. Go big with Lakeside and McNeese.
We're back. Speaking of football, you do a lot of football scheduling.
Yep.
Now you got you're the only FCS school I see this year getting $750,000 for your game.
Well, that's
been reported.
Yeah, that's the only one. We'd be the only one in the country. I think that's our big brothers down the street taking care of us.
Yes. And that's before you got there.
That's right.
So you should expect more money from them now.
Well, we should.
But
if not, we got real problems.
As you look at the future of that, have you heard from a lot of people going forward about the big money games, or is there a lot of people talking about holding on until they see where their leagues are going?
There's a lot of holding on right now. Now we're fortunate. Next year we've got a pending game with a Power 4 school that's going to be a really good game for us and a really good check for us. But the vast majority of them are holding, but I don't think they're going to go away though. I mean, you still got to look at if they go to a 12 game or whatever that the SEC schedule is. I mean, they can't risk playing a mid-major that can come in and beat them up as well. I mean, so some of those schools are going to still want to play a smaller school. So I don't think it's going away, but there'll be way less of them for sure.
Well, they're canceling games left and right.
Absolutely.
Which is interesting because you're a baseball guy, and we see baseball guys canceling games at the end of the year too.
Yeah.
We won't mention anybody in the league, perhaps, but if you look at some of the other around the country, there were some trying to protect their RPI ratings.
That's right. And the NCAA tried to get ahead of it with tried to address it with a little memo. Hopefully, I think if any sport has a little gamesmanship left, it would be the game of baseball. So hopefully they can head that off and fix that.
But that does raise problems for the mid-major. You guys trying to bring people in here for basketball, for any sport, is hard enough.
That's absolutely.
And now you're trying to figure out, is those big money games going to be there?
Yeah, I mean, you look at especially basketball. I mean, I asked Bridget if we have any updates on the schedule, and we still don't. I mean, people are just that even to go to them and play is a problem for RPI reasons because of what we've done the last couple of years. So, but I don't blame them. I mean, if we're in their position, I'd be worried too. It's all a money game, and they got to win as many games as they can. And so, that's a tough thing to try to pay somebody $100,000 a year to get beat in your own arena. I mean, so
you can't do that. You can't do that too often. And the one thing is, we do get a basketball game here with LSU for a scrimmage.
For a scrimmage, yep.
So at least that'll be some money coming in.
Yep.
But getting those games, getting football especially, it seems like, to bring a mid-major down here or an FCS school down here is tough because of the finances. And then to reciprocate and say we're going to go. You flew to Utah a couple of times the last couple of years. Those are expensive trips.
They're very expensive, and so what we've done, like we do have Northern Arizona on the books for a home and home, and we had thought about, does it make sense to get on a plane? But our money game that year is LSU, so. And it also, when you look at it, there's so many variables that go into it. But if we follow the same home and away cadence for the league, we would be home with Rio Grande that year, so we would potentially not fly any other game. So it makes sense from a budget and a travel standpoint to keep that Northern Arizona game. So you just got to look at. I mean, we absolutely did it a couple years ago. You took 2 flights in 1 year.
Yeah.
That'll destroy your travel budget.
Yeah.
So really. Ideally, you could take no flights in a year. That'd be great. Like this year, we're going to go. We'll go down the road to LSU and get the check, but we're on the road to Rio, so we'll go ahead and take the flight to Rio to help with travel and hopefully give us an advantage when we go down there. But they're definitely we want to try to stay in a regional footprint, and if we can't stay in a regional footprint, then we definitely can't take 2 flights in a year.
That's hard to do.
It is very hard to do.
We'll see you next week on Polk Nation.